Osso Buco, an Italian dish traditionally made with veal shank, stewed in wine with veggies and seasonings. Let me share with you my take on this truly comforting Italian dish. My name is Fu, and this is Comfort Foodie. The ingredients for this recipe are 2 diced carrots, 2 diced celery stalks, a 1/4 cup diced onion, 3 tablespoons of diced garlic, 1 diced tomato, 1 sprig of rosemary and thyme, 2 bay leaves, 1 cup of red wine for the Osso Buco, and 1 whole bottle for you while you're making the Osso Buco, 4 cups of homemade pork stock, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 cup of flour for dredging, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, half a pound of mini gold potatoes, 3 pounds of lamb shanks. First, I begin with my mise en place. Now, if you know what mise en place means, you probably already know how to make this dish. Therefore, you are either here to enjoy the sound of my soothing Barry White-like voice, or you're here to watch my heavenly hands in action. Either way, please hit like and subscribe and enjoy. Generally, when I'm cooking, for the most part, I like to have all of my ingredients cut or diced, cookware and utensils accessible, so that it makes the process streamlined and more efficient. That's mise en place. I find cooking in general to be calming and therapeutic. It often allows me the time to zone out and immerse myself into a zen-like space until Amy, my wife, yells at me to pick up my clothes off the floor, or when our 6 and 8-year-old are yelling at me to make Kraft mac and cheese for 4 days in a row. That's a real confidence booster in the kitchen. So now, back to dicing my veggies. Osso Buco is traditionally made with beef shanks. For this recipe, I'm using lamb shanks because I enjoy the taste of the meat parts braised in wine and veggies. I quickly realized that a salt cellar is much easier and efficient for this process. Okay, so after dredging in flour, I begin searing the shanks to lock in moisture and creating a nice crust on all sides. It is imperative to treat the shanks like a high school mixer. Make sure there is space between each of the shanks. Do not allow them to touch each other during this process. Now remove the shanks, and in the same pot, add your onions, carrots, celery, and garlic. Gently saute the veggies to pick up the fond from the bottom of the pot. Fond is another French culinary word that refers to the brown stuff that sticks to the bottom of your pot when you're searing protein or veggies in fat. It also sounds like the name of a young deer, which may also go really well in this recipe. Okay, was that too much? It's imperative to cook down the tomato paste to bring out its sweetness before you add anything else. Okay, so add a cup of red wine. Now, I recommend using a wine you enjoy drinking. This is not the time to use a red 2-buck chuck. You're investing quite a bit of time in this dish, and you want to enjoy it in its full potential. That doesn't mean using a prized anniversary wine from Napa. Try using one you would serve your mama. Wait, did you just hear me flow? After adding your thyme, rosemary, and bay leaves, reintroduce the shanks back into the pot. Now they can touch each other. Don't get creepy. Traditionally, beef stock is added into this recipe. I'm using homemade pork stock that I made and refrigerated. The white beads you see floating are globules of pork fat, which will add an additional layer of richness to this dish. Alright, cool. Cover and place in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. In the meantime, add your baby gold potatoes in a sauté or a saucepan. I'm not completely sure what this pan is called, with water and salt. Cook until they are fork tender. Gently score them. Add a couple tablespoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and some salt and pepper. Mix to coat and loosely pound the potatoes to crack them, but try not to split them completely. Place them in the oven at 450 degrees for about 30 minutes. Look at that braised beauty. For garnish, finely diced parsley and spring onions. I was so nervous picking up the herbs with my blade, but I knew it may validate me as a cook in your eyes. Do you see what I go through for you? Now, after removing the thyme, rosemary, and bay leaf, ladle the sauce into a pot. Add a couple tablespoons of butter to give it a sheen, and cook it down to thicken it. Plate the tender lamb shanks, ladle the cooked sauce over them, and garnish with Italian parsley. Lamb shank osso buco and crispy baby gold potatoes. This is comfort food.